Harlequin Audio is proud to bring you What the Prince Wants by Jules Bennett, a Harlequin desire novel, performed by Elizabeth Klett. Chapter 1. The curves, the expressive green eyes, rich brown hair the color of his favorite scotch, all made for a punch of primal lust Mikos Colin Alexander hadn't experienced in years. This sure as hell was not the woman he'd expected to see on his doorstep. Woman? No, she couldn't be more than 20 years old. She looked as if she'd just stepped out of a photo shoot for some popular American teen magazine. With her pink t-shirt, body-hugging jeans, and little white sandals, this was not the image he'd had in mind when he'd gone online seeking a nanny. Iris's angry cry drew his attention back to the point of this meeting. The lady at his door immediately shifted her gaze from him to the child on his hip. "Oh, it's okay, sweetheart." Her voice, so soft, so gentle, got Iris's attention. "What's a beautiful princess like you crying about?" Princess. He cringed at the term, hating how dead-on this stranger was. But he was in L.A. now, not Galini Isle, a country so small that nobody here knew who he was, which was just how he preferred it. His wish to be free from his royal heritage had carried him through life, but the urge had never been stronger than after the accident that nearly took his life. Between that, his failed marriage, Karina's death, and his being a widowed prince, the media was all over him. There wasn't a moment's peace back home, and he needed to get away, to regroup, and maybe to never return. Now more than ever he wanted independence, for him and his daughter. "I'm sorry." Extending her hand, the lady offered him a wide, radiant smile. "I'm Darcy Cooper. You must be Mr. Alexander." Darcy. The woman he'd emailed, the woman he'd spoken to on the phone, the woman he'd all but hired sight unseen to be his live-in nanny because of her impressive references and the number of years the agency had been in business. Napariechi. Damn it. What happened to the short, round, bun-wearing grandmother type he'd seen pictured on the website? He'd been assured the woman coming to care for his daughter was the owner. No way could this curvaceous beauty be in charge of Loving Hands child care agency. Perhaps they'd sent someone else at the last minute. Colin shifted his irate daughter to his good hip. Damn accident still had him fighting to get back to normal. Whatever normal was after nearly dying and then losing your wife. "You're not what I expected." Quirking a brow, she tipped her head as a smile spread across her face. Her eyes ran over him, no doubt taking in his running shorts, t-shirt, and bedhead. "That would make two of us." Her sparkling eyes held his. Was she mocking him? Of course she was. She had no idea who she was speaking to. Not that anybody here knew of his royal status, but still, nobody mocked him except his brother. Iris's piercing wails grew louder, more shrill in his ear. Between lack of sleep and the constant pain in his back and hip, he was done trying to be Father of the Year. The fact that he'd had no choice but to find assistance still angered him. Iris was the only reason he was giving in. Her needs had to come before his pride, which is why he now found himself staring down at the petite, yet very shapely nanny. This is what he'd wanted, right? To be free from all the servants, the media, the people ready to step in and practically raise his child for him while thrusting her into the limelight. Hell, he'd even been running his own vacuum here. Among other domestic tasks like dusting and putting the trash out at the end of the driveway. His brother would die laughing if he saw Mikos wielding a dust mop. Colin. He had to keep thinking of himself as Colin now that he was in the United States. His middle name would help him blend in so much better. He was here to see who he was as a man, not a prince. To rediscover a piece of himself he was afraid he'd lost.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?